Hey everybody, as schoolwork has come to an end, you are probably starting to think about what your summer might look like, and you're probably getting to the point of maybe being unhappy because you're realizing you're gonna miss out on a lot of things that you normally try to do during the summer. I don't know what those things might be for you, but some of them might be like you anticipated going on a specific ride at Darien Lake, or there's a concert that you wanted to go to, or there's a vacation spot or a camp that you were looking forward to going to. And now it's very likely those things aren't going to happen. But for you, there's experiences and there's feelings that come up with those places, that ride, that concert, those experiences that make you feel happy, right? You pursue those things because you feel happy when you do them. And that's part of the problem with happiness, is it's something that doesn't happen all the time. Happiness happens in these moments, but it's not something that happens moment after moment after moment after moment. We usually don't go from a happy moment to another happy moment to another happy moment to another happy moment. It's usually happy moment to not so happy moment to I'm just bored to everyday life to maybe a bad situation to maybe another happy moment. That's usually how it happens. Happiness doesn't last. That's the problem with happiness. It's still good, but it doesn't last. Followers of Jesus have come to know by looking at the life of Jesus that there's a deeper way of experiencing life, and that deeper way is joy. Having joy in our life, in your life, is something much deeper than happiness. And it's much deeper for this reason. Joy is something that can happen no matter the circumstance. If it's a good moment, you can be joyful. If it's a bad moment, you can be joyful. If it's just a boring moment, you can still be joyful. Joy is that feeling of contentment, that even when things are bad, life is still okay, and it's still filled with purpose. Followers of Jesus can be joyful because they know that God is with them. God is with them to keep them going in the boring times, and God is with them to keep them going in the crummy times, and God is with them to keep them going until the next happy moment. But they ultimately look to God to provide for them, provide for the happy moments, the good moments, and even be with them in the moments that aren't so good. Joy is this richer experience that followers of Jesus have experienced by following Jesus. In following Jesus, we get to experience God's presence. And what we see in the life of Jesus is that Jesus led the way in having joy. In a passage in the Bible, in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verses 1, toward the second part of verse 1 and verse 2, we read these words. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. And the race here is just talking about living life, essentially. As we're running this race, fixing our eyes on Jesus. Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross. I mean, if there's ever a crummy situation or a situation that's that's unhappy, it's the cross. It's dying. It's being killed by someone else. And this is what Jesus experienced. And it says that he looked for joy in the midst of that moment. He scorned the shame of the cross, and he sat down at the right hand of God. And when we see the right hand of God here, essentially we're talking about Jesus being aware that God was present with him in those moments, that God wasn't absent, he was with him. And in that moment, there's joy to be experienced, even in a crummy situation where someone's trying to torture you and put you to death. So Jesus led the way in having joy, and followers of Jesus are called to have that same experience by following Jesus. And in following Jesus, we are stepping into God's presence. The reality is, being in the presence of God happens by following Jesus, who is God's Son. And that's the only place that we're ever going to experience joy, especially joy in the way that Jesus was able to. So even though you're not going to maybe be able to have the happy moments that you normally anticipate having this summer, it doesn't mean you can't have joy this summer. Joy is something that can happen even when there aren't the happy moments that we like and find good in life. Joy is something that's possible by following Jesus, by being in God's presence. I hope that's encouraging to you, and I'll catch you next time.